Carter. We're going to talk a little bit about his travels around the world, like what he takes around with him and stuff like that. So, Bobby, how do you decide where you're going to go to begin with? Like, the world's obviously a huge place and all that stuff.
Usually just by talking to writers on the internet and I might see something happening in a certain country or like an event or a jam or maybe I just know that there's like a certain writer that's either busting out or just there's like a special story about that writer or a scene or something that's interesting. And so, I might do a little bit of like research and like email a few different writers and see what's going on, see what we can do. And from there, I'll usually just kind of make a loose plan of like where I want to go, who I want to see, what kind of information I want to put in the video, and then I'll actually go out there and, you know, sort of follow the plan, but, things happen that you don't expect to happen, so you just have to like go with it and actually see what's happening and what you get in the end. So that's pretty much it.
So you decide on a place. Let's say you decide to go to Japan,
hmm
roughly, just for an example. What would you take on that trip?
Every time I go, I pretty much have my bike, I got my clothes, and then I got a backpack with my camera, a bunch of tape, blank tapes, and some audio equipment like a microphone and like necessary cables and things like that. And I also have pen and pad so that I can, write down different notes along the journey and get writers' names and like different addresses and things like that. So, um, yeah, that's pretty much it. I keep it really simple, and so I can like actually maneuver around and be kind of mobile and have everything I need as far as production wise while filming. So I keep it old school too with the pen and paper because like electronic devices run out of batteries and things like that, and pen and paper just boom, write it down, write the name down, and you're ready.
That's a good idea. Yeah, that's very true. So what I always liked about Diversion, you mentioned you see you hear of a guy busting out, but you covered all levels. Like sometimes, like even with my blog, I'm conscious that you sometimes, like I sometimes, you just show pro videos. Do you know what I mean? Like flatlands for everyone, like all levels, and I like that you showed all that. Have you got any kind of opinion around
Yeah,
that?
like basically like Diversion was to represent the global flatland community. So I wanted to show the lives of the riders. You know what I mean? It wasn't just about tricks. There's a lot of videos out that are about tricks, and that's awesome. You know what I mean? Watching the most progressive riders around, but the whole point of me, I was trying to do something different, not just the same thing, and I wanted to actually show the lives of these riders. There's more to it. There's more to the flatland than just doing tricks on the bike. It goes like way deeper than that. You know what I mean? So I wanted to capture the whole community. So it didn't necessarily mean that you had to be a top pro to get into the video. I was trying to cover the community. So, whether you're a beginner and you're doing something interesting, or you're an organizer of some event, or you might be just a top pro and busting, like everybody, you know, is kind of in the video, can be in the video. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It wasn't about just, man, your tricks have to be this good to be in the video. It's about the story of the lives of flatlanders around the planet.
That's excellent, brilliant. So from your travels, is there any kind of cherished memories you hold dear to yourself?
Um, Really, it's like just being able to go around the globe and just make my dream a reality. My whole perception of the planet and how things work and how people are is totally changed and totally different than it was before I was actually able to go and, meet with the riders. Going to a country and staying in a hotel and just going on, um, like bus tours and just hitting a couple spots and going back to your hotel and then flying back home. You're kind of seeing the country like, through the glass. You know what I mean? Kind of like you're in a museum or something like that. Whereas, when you go and travel and you're staying with riders and you're riding with riders, you're in the middle of the country. You know what I mean? You're in the middle of the culture. you're like waking up with people and they might have to go to school or go to work, or you're staying with the different families, and you're out at the spot and seeing what's happening on a day-to-day basis in all these different countries, and seeing how things work and how they are different from you know how I am and where I live, and where I come from. And that to me is like awesome. And I don't know, I just remember just you land and maybe you might be in Narita Airport in Japan, and you're seeing all these people from like all over the world just crisscrossing the globe, like making things happen. It just, I don't know, it feels good to me to feel as though I'm like part of that, making things happen around the world.